Caleb Williams and the Bears avenged their loss from last year against the Washington Commanders and are now 3-2 on the season and will host the Saints in this Week 7 matchup. My name's Tyler here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this game and provide our predictions at the end. So be sure to leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. And while you're at it, we're trying to get to 8,000 subscribers by the end of this week, and we're only 300 or so away. So hit that subscribe button, help us out, and also you'll get notified whenever we make new content. And Ryan, great win here from Chicago. I think they got a little fortunate with the turnovers that Commanders had as well too. But hey, you know what? Also too, props for trusting Jake Moody here as well. What a interesting career he's had so far in the NFL. Still got a cannon of a leg, but glad to see him do well and hit the game winner, especially in a tough environment to kick in with the way that weather was and how wet that field was. So big win for them there too. I thought the Bears looked really good as well. I think defensively there's some vulnerabilities, but there's also, I mean, it is still Jaden Daniels as well here too. But so some things on the defense they need to worry about. But that being said, though, started to see a lot of Ben Johnson's philosophy start to come in. Caleb Williams looked better and it looked more in structure overall, getting it to his guys here as well after coming off. Just continue to keep on improving. 17 for 29, 252 yards and a touchdown. 14 carries, 108 yards for DeAndre Swift, which is huge as well too, especially going into this matchup here against the Saints. But in general, I think the thing that I look at the most though is just the number of different guys that they were able to get targets to and throw to. Swift had 2 catches. Luther Burden had 4 catches. DJ Moore had 3 catches. Odunze had 2 catches. Monungai got in there. Zacchaeus had 2 catches and a crucial drop as well too, like Colson Loveland, Cole Kmet. I mean, there's a lot of guys here, and it kind of reminds you a little bit of like that Lions offense are trying to get together, where like there's 6 or 7 guys that could be real effective playmakers, and it's the way that Ben Johnson sets up his offensive scheming. They're going to be going up against the Saints team as well, who I think has been playing decently well. They played against your Patriots here in Week 6, played them well, but defense is underrated, still a tough defense, and not going to lie, Spencer Rattler, all things considered, is looking pretty good, especially with some of the limitations of this offense here.
Yeah, no, I was very impressed with the Saints coming out of this Week 6 matchup here against my Patriots. Defense was fairly sound in terms of the run game. I think they gave up some explosives early on that they later cleaned up. And then offensively, yeah, I thought Spencer Rattler looked really sharp. If honestly his receivers helped him out a little bit more, this might be a different story coming out of this game. Chris Olave had a couple drops. And honestly, the biggest thing I noticed coming out of this game too was they have a lot of speed on this offense. You look, Jawan Johnson at tight end, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Kendre Miller, and Alvin Kamara are shifty in space as well. So this is not an easy out here for anybody. And you go look at all of their games except for really the Seahawks game, where that game just got away from them. They gave up a couple special teams touchdowns and just got away from them early. They've all been really close. The Bills scored late to make that one a 2-score game, but in every other one, the Saints have had the ball with an opportunity to go and win this game. And so this is not, I think, an opponent that should be easily overlooked. And I give Kellen Moore a lot of credit for what he's been able to do with this offense. So I like the direction that the Saints are going in right now. I know they're 1-5, but I think if you trust the process here, the results will come. And I think the Bears are just a little bit further along in that process. A little bit of a rough start, I think, with the Monday night loss to the Vikings after being up, what was it, 24-6 or 24-7.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, been able to play much better, especially, getting an opportunistic win on the road against the Commanders, kind of avenging what was a wild loss for them this time last year.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It's Bears. It's a good bounce back team, and this NFC North is just absolutely wild. And we'll get into the playoff standings here a little bit because unfortunately, I think for the Saints are the only team as I'm calling as of right now that are for sure not going to make the playoffs, and it's not for the fact that they haven't been doing well, because even to you go look at their numbers, like defensively, they're 20th in yards allowed, 19th in yards allowed passing, 17th in rushing yards allowed, 15th in sacks. And those are defensive numbers to me that are not typically what you see from the worst record in the NFC
Yeah.
in general. And then uh, offensively too, 25th in total yards, 23rd in passing yards, 20th in rushing yards, and 14th in sacks allowed. So once again, they're rebuilding, but you're kind of seeing the foundation of a team that is starting to get some pieces together. Like they have a number one in Chris Olave. They drafted for the offensive line, keep on improving. They've still been dealing with some injuries there, but once still a young offensive line with four first round picks, two if five in the first two rounds over the past 5 or 6 years as well too. And so in general, like, they're playing like a good unit. They're just younger, and I
Yeah.
think they just needed a better coach get in there after Dennis Allen. But to your point, Kellen Moore, I think, is getting his philosophy in there. I think they just need some more weapons to help them out. But you keep on seeing this development from the Saints. And we'll get to this later on in the video because I want to go back to the game. But it's that you stick with Spencer Rattler. I mean, it's still early on, but now seeing him play with the first string now for 6 games in a row, it's looking kind of impressive. And I think they're going to have opportunities here too because the Saints offense isn't nearly as prolific as the Washington offense could be, and Washington had some turnovers that kind of helped the Bears win this game. Bears
Mhm.
probably shouldn't have won this game, but this is going to be a tougher matchup for Chicago. I know coming off a primetime win here, but the Saints offense could potentially move the ball against this Bears defense, which was vulnerable at times. And the Saints defense, led by Brandon Staley as defense coordinator, say what you want about him as a head coach, but they've done a good job kind of playing tough against some of these top offenses, as you mentioned earlier this year.
Yeah, no, and I think too, you go look, Rashid Shaheed kind of blew that game open against the Giants, and that really started a onslaught of offensive play there. The Patriots took Rashid Shaheed away, and didn't really allow them to push the ball down the field to him. But Spencer Rattler did a very good job of diagnosing what the Patriots defense was doing, and going forward, and just taking the check down and letting his playmakers make plays in the open field. So that being said, I like this Bears team, but I'm actually going to go with the Saints here, in a little bit of an upset. I just think that this team matches up well against the Bears, and it's. I I just think that they could go in there and maybe shock some people, especially coming off a tough Monday night loss. Saints are going to have an extra day to kind of get ready and prepare. Yeah, I like the Saints in this matchup.
I like it. I can see it here. With the Saints, want to watch just keep on seeing how they keep on developing overall. I do just think I think this is going to be another one of those close games that the Saints just can't pull out in the end. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Falcons fan. I also think too as well. It's just a confidence builder for Caleb Williams and this offense here in this Ben Johnson system. The Saints offense is just not prolific enough, I think, to consistently capitalize on this Bears defense and some of the inconsistencies. I think it's going to be a good matchup with Chris Olave and these corners that they're going to win. Like the Saints receivers are going to win, but this is also still a good secondary room in general. I think the defensive front seven is going to give Spencer Rattler some fits at times. And as I said, Saints offense is improving. They're going to get their punches in also. But I think over a 60-minute period with Ben Johnson now and keep on learning all the different weapons that they have here as well. I think that Chicago Bears are going to pull this one off at home and go to 4-2 on the year. And I think real quickly, just what that means for them as well too, because there's so many teams in the NFC that are in the playoff hunt. Uh, Saints are not one of them, especially too if I'm right on this game, they go to fall to 1-6. But you go look at the entire NFC West. I think they're also in the playoffs. You got the rest of the NFC South. Bears obviously are in a dogfight for to win the NFC North, but all those teams as well could also make the playoffs as well. And not only the Giants can make it, but the way that Cowboys are playing now too, and I think any of those teams in the NFC East could win that division. The Eagles are not who they are last year, so this is a big game for the Bears. Just kind of maintain momentum, at least maintain their division race, but also to just a wild card hunt as well. And for the Saints, I'm very curious here as well too, because if Rattler keeps on developing, just one final thought. Mendoza's Fernando Mendoza, QB out of Indiana. He's probably the top prospect coming out now. I mean, you have to see Garrett Nussmeier. I know his dad's the offensive coordinator here, but that being said, if Rattler keeps on improving, there are other areas for this team here that need to be addressed as well. They like need some more skill position players here. Probably several spots on the defensive side of the ball that you could really address. Do you take a quarterback? It's very early on here, but Rattler hasn't been bad. Like
I
I don't think it's like I think you can keep on developing him because if you go and get a Mendoza or a Nussmeier though too, it's like you're going to be kind of also starting over and developing him as well here too.
yeah.
What traits do those guys have that Rattler doesn't currently have that you could see keep on improving? I think that's going to be the big question.
So I think one thing that's going to end up happening with this QB class specifically, and this is a little bit away from the Saints, but I think it affects them, is I think you're going to see a lot of these guys go back for one more year of college football. I think you might see Dante Moore go back, Lenoris Sellers go back. I don't know if Ty Simpson will go back or not. I also need to check his eligibility.
Hmm.
But I think if he could go back as well. Fernando Mendoza is the only guy off the top of my head that I can think of that is for sure a first round lock, if not like a top quarterback prospect that we've seen in a while. Um, that is definitely coming out
Yeah,
in this draft class. So you could have a bit of a Cam Ward situation, and maybe instead of forcing a younger prospect on this team, I think it might be wise for the Saints again, especially if Spencer Rattler keeps developing, go get a Reuben Bain or a Jordan Tyson or somebody in that conversation and then see what this offense can develop into with that. Because frankly, I think Rattler has shown you a decent
as of
bit.
now,
Yeah, as of
he's
now.
showing you a decent bit.
So it's something to keep in mind. We're a third of the way through the season, so we still got 12 games or 12 games to go for these teams. But yeah, I think it's going to be a fun kind of thought experiment as this season goes on here for the Saints.
Yep.
But let's go ahead. Let's wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. If you guys have, while you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the New Orleans Saints? Will it be the Chicago Bears? And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.